A very cheerful morning, grade 5. I hope this lecture finds you in the best of your health and spirit. Today we are going to start our lesson number 5 and the topic name is Major Historical Events. Well, grade 5, fasten your seat belts because we are going to start our topic. Before we start our topic, let's talk about moral improvement. We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. Well, the topic of our today's moral lecture is We Rise by Lifting Others Up. Guys, always remember one thing that the smallest act of kindness is worth more than the grandest intention. Because we can do great things, on this earth every day, but only small things with great love we all can do. I guess your answer is yes. Let's talk about it. We rise by lifting others up. Our heart grows. We find happiness when we grab their hands and hoist them up. Well, students, in our natural state, we are made to be compassionate and kind. Kindness is a genetic necessity for human survival. The trust and cooperation that is only allowed through giving allows us to support one another when the going is tough. So we have to make this promise to each other that we will live by lifting others up. Whenever you will feel your any classmate is not feeling well and you feel that he or she is weak, you have to lift them up by giving your time, by giving your care, love, and by sharing your stuff with them. Because if we guys will do keep on doing such kind of little acts of kindness, the day will come when this world become the beautiful place to live, and we can do it. It's not difficult. Let's start doing it from today. Just try to do everyone just try to do one act of kindness every day. Because I believed in that by doing this, we find, peace. We can go towards, bestest direction. And I think that this is the objective of someone's life. We have to lift others up. When we do this thing, we will shine more brighter than before. Thank you. Well, grade 5, before we start our lecture number 6, let's take a quick recap of our lecture number 5. In our previous lecture, we have discussed about War of Independence, its economic, social, political and religious causes. We have also discussed a bit about its failure causes. Well, students, let's revise it. In our previous lecture, I have told you that the War of Independence is an important turning point in the history of subcontinent. Students, this war was fought in 1857 by Indians against British rule to get rid of their, domination. Well, this war was an extreme struggle made by Indians, but they failed due to certain reasons, including mutual jealousy and lack of central leadership. In our today's lecture, we will talk about two-nation theory, the division of Bengal, establishment of Indian National Congress. In our lecture number 6, we will talk about page number 50. In this slide, we'll talk about our first major historical event that led to the creation of Pakistan. Two-nation theory. Well, guys, two-nation theory means the Muslim and Hindus of subcontinent are two separate nations on the basis of their culture, political, religious, economic, and social dissimilarities. The concept of two-nation theory was given by Islam because Islam has different characters and temperament. Students, according to Islam, there are only two nations in this world, believers and non-believers. When Hindus and Muslims were living together, they had lots of problems. First problem was their religious beliefs. Muslims worship Allah Almighty and Hindu worship, idols. So that was the basic cause and reason that the Muslim in subcontinent, wasn't able to perform their religious practices. So they demand a separate homeland. Guys, religion was the dominant factor in two-nation theory, which compelled the Hindus of subcontinent and the Muslims of subcontinent to think about their, separate nation and separate homeland. Once Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah said that we should have a state in which we could live and believe as a free man, where we could develop according to our light, culture, and where the principles of Islam should be dominant. Social justice could find free to play. As I told you that two-nation theory had played an important role for demanding a separate homeland for Muslims, as Hindus and Muslims can't live together. Well, these two nations lived side by side for centuries, but they couldn't get mixed with each other. Common society of both nations could not come, into being. Well, two-nation theory is based on this concept. In our next video, we'll check it out that who gave the concept of two-nation theory, and he was Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who first used the word of two nations. Well, guys, let's check it out in a video. It will tell us a bit more about two-nation theory.
ये राज किसी को नहीं मालूम कि मोमिन भारी नजर आता है, हकीकत में है कुरान। कुदरत के मकासिद का आयात के इरादा दुनिया में भी दीदा, कयामत में भी दीदा।
Major nations, the Hindus and Muslims. 100 millions of Muslims cannot be characterized as a minority. We want the division of India into Hindustan and Pakistan because that is the only practical solution. Hindu India and Muslim India must be separated because the two nations are entirely distinct and different, and in some matters antagonistic to each other. Let me tell you some of the differences. We differ in our history, culture, language, architecture, music, laws, jurisprudence, calendar, and our entire social fabric and code of life. One India is impossible to realize. It will inevitably mean that the Muslim will be transferred from the domination of the British to the caste Hindu rule, a position that Muslim will never accept. Muslims desire freedom more than anyone else, because love for freedom, fraternity, and liberty is the lifeblood of their existence. But freedom must mean freedom both from the British exploitation and Hindu domination. 100 millions of Muslims will never agree merely to a change of masters.
And we fought for Pakistan because there was danger of denial of these human rights in this subcontinent. We aspired for these great ideals because of centuries of dual domination by the foreign rulers and by the caste-ridden social system. This
concept of two-nation theory was first of all given by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan because he used the word two-nation for the first time. Later on, it was preceded by Allama Muhammad Iqbal. In the video which you have played, you heard the exactly original voice of Allama Muhammad Iqbal. He cleared to the Hindus of subcontinent that the Muslims are demanding a separate homeland for a reason. Guys, let's talk about our second most important historical event. Well, I'm talking about the first Indian National Congress 1885. Guys, as you know that the War of Independence was an extreme struggle made by Indians, but it failed due to certain reasons, due to the, you can say that, a lack of central leadership and the mutual jealousy. But this war was a failure. Instead of that, it left a great impact in the minds of British people that now Indian and the Muslims of subcontinent are aware of their rights. They need a platform where they can convey their feelings to the government. So the British governor established a party and named it the First Indian National Congress. Well, the Indian National Congress was founded in December 1885. Although this party claimed to present both Hindus and Muslims equally, but it was dominated by Hindus. Most of its leaders were Hindus, so therefore most of its policies and demands were against of Muslim interest. Well, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan presented two-nation theory, and the Muslims started a separate political struggle which was defending the rights of and the interest of Muslims of subcontinent against the British and Hindus. Well, guys, after discussing the major historical events which led to the creation of Pakistan, two-nation theory and the establishment of Indian National Congress 1885, let's talk about division of Bengal 1905. Well, guys, Bengal was the biggest province with a population of 78 million people. It was a vast area and a large administrative unit. The whole province was under one lieutenant governor who could not look after the administrative requirements of such a vast province alone. Well, guys, it was felt that the province of Bengal should be divided in two parts. Here on this slide, you can see that how much big and vast province it was. Can you see that the map of, Bengal? It was divided in two parts in 1905. Well, the capital of new province was Dhaka. With the establishment of new province, there was a hope of progress and the prosperity among the Muslims. Well, due to the opposition of Hindus, the government again formed the Bengal into one province in 1911. As I told you that the division of Bengal 1905 was a great measure to bring prosperity in Muslims. Well, by chance, Muslims were in majority in East Bengal, and the partition opened chances of progress and prosperity of Muslims. And this wasn't acceptable for the Hindus of subcontinent. They started boycotting the British products to put pressure on them to cancel this division, and they cancelled it in 1911. Well, the Muslim of India had appreciated the step and started turning in the favor of British, but the British soon gave in against the mounting pressure of Hindus, which help Muslims to realize the importance of their own, feet and the separate homeland. Well, this was a wake up call for the Muslims to organize themselves politically and get start the struggle of separate homeland. At the end of the lecture, I'm going to play a few words of Allama Muhammad Iqbal. These words are very important for us to recall the importance of two-nation theory and the importance of, our separate identity. So just listen these words because I'm playing the real voice of Allama Muhammad Iqbal. Well, guys, at the end of the lecture, I would like to say,
हाथ धोने के बाद तौलिया की जगह टिश्यू से खुश करें। रोज पेटल, आपकी सेहत आपके हाथ में।